I overcame my panic attacks. How I overcame panic. How I have dealt with panic attacks, panic, the fear and the panic, how I dealt with it. How I overcame panic attacks, how I overcame panic. Hello, y'all. I'm Dianna, Brianne. I don't give advice, suggestions, information, recommendations. I do share with you my perspective and how I see life, as well as some of my own experiences. Well, I wanted to talk about panic attacks a little bit. I'm not an expert at panic attacks. I don't give advice about panic attacks. I am just sharing with you my own personal journey in life. You know, a panic attack varies from person to person, and it depends upon, the severity and what we're talking about. And there's different reasons why some people would have them, from my understanding. I can tell you what my panic attack was like, and everyone's, I think, is different and unique to themselves. Whenever I had more of a panic attack about something, is something I was afraid of, I didn't hyperventilate or anything like that, like some people might, but I just got kind of frozen, and that's kind of a response sometimes to trauma throughout life, because I've had a few times in my life where I've had some traumatic experiences, especially early on. And so sometimes those will rear its head periodically in my life, and it could be in a lot of different ways, or it could be in some different ways. And different people have different things that they respond to with that form of feeling fearful or feeling panicked. And, and it can be, sometimes it can look silly to other people what some people would panic over, and it even looks silly to themselves. And yet it's real. It's a real feeling. And like I said, everyone's responses to panic is different. And mine was just simply, I kind of freeze. I kind of get scared. I kind of, it's like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know, it's kind of a frozen type of feeling for me. Now, other people, it can be all kinds of things. And so one of my ways of having dealt with panic for different reasons in my life, and I'm not talking about a real situation or a real kind of threat or something like that. I'm not talking about something like that. I'm just talking about being fearful over what I call, in my mind, in my life, ridiculous type of things. And my mother used to fear her bills not being paid on time. She grew up in the Great Depression, and so a lot of her fears stem from unhealthy fears from money. Not enough money, not enough food. She was quite fearful about those kind of things, and she would panic. She would stare out the window and wait for the mailman to come pick up her bill to mail out, and just to make sure that it got out sent on time and that he actually picked it up and took it. That was her form of panic. And, and I probably have had kind of similar type of things as she did, whether it was inherited or whether it was just rubbed off on me, or whether it came from my own kind of traumatic experiences or whatever. And, so what I have done in my own life is, when I realize it's a ridiculous fear, that's creating my panic, I tend to ask myself, do I need to go through this? Do I need to walk through this to the other side to get to what I want? And if I do, then I face that fear and I go through it. Even if my legs are shaking, I go through that fear. It could be public speaking, getting in front of an audience. Oh my gosh, I'm panicked. I don't want to get in front of the audience. I'm scared. And yet I realize that it's important for me to get up there and give my speech. And so I face my panic. I get up there with my knees shaking or whatever, if that were the situation. And so that's kind of my way, is to go through it rather than always avoid it. And you know, a lot of times panic can seem ridiculous to other people. Why are you panicking? That's no big deal. But for the person who's panicking, it can be a big deal. And so some people seek professional help. Some people, like me, are able to deal effectively with it. And I do really, really well when I see it coming on about something. There again, I look at it, is this real or is it kind of just one of those ridiculous things? And if it's a ridiculous thing, I'll tend to address it and go through it. And you know, I think a lot of people do get panic for a lot of different reasons. And, you know, it's just kind of sometimes a part of life. And it's kind of sometimes what happens to people in life. And some people never get a panic attack. Other people get varying degrees of it. And what one person's panic attack may look like may be totally different than another. And one person's way of resolving it may be totally different than another. But I too have had my share of what I call panic attacks. Now, maybe mine have not been as extreme or as big as some people's, or maybe mine has been a little bit bigger than some other people's. I mean, they all vary. But my way of dealing with it is to usually face it, is usually, you know, say, is this real? Is this more of a fake thing? Or not a fake thing, but is it more of a ridiculous thing in my mind? Do I need to go through it for some reason? And for me, I tend to just face my fears. I tend to face my fears even though I feel like being frozen. And also, you know, one of the things is if I feel like a panic type of situation coming on, I clean my house. I get busy cleaning, and movement relaxes me. Movement tends to relax me. So don't feel like you're the only one that's ever had a panic attack in the world, because I think, you know, if I've had them, probably there's a lot more people that's had them. Now, like I said, mine I tend to work through, and they're not a big issue. But even today in my life, I could have, you know, I can still have them over the most ridiculous of things. Some people get them over the fear of height. I remember one day we went into Atlanta to a very tall building, and we were going up on the elevator, and oh my gosh, did I panic. And I'd never had a fear of heights before. All of a sudden, I'm panicking. You know, but I made it through, and I did fine. So, you know, sometimes it's just a matter of getting through. But everyone's solution, everyone's way of handling it is different. And that is just my way. Like I said, I don't give advice or suggestions. It's just I'm sharing with you my own personal journey and my own personal experiences. From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe. Channel names are pinned at the top of the comment section or description box below. Hope to talk to you then. Bye-bye.